Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organization for the invitation to be here, also for the introduction, and obviously for you audience for attending this meeting. Actually, it's really quite surprised this outstanding venue, and also I would like to thank you because I think it's the first time I'm going to be on TV. Okay, today, here in UPM and Universidad Politecnica de Madrid, we actually support, we are highly involved in future internet and smart cities related projects. So that's why we are delighted to attend this kind of initiatives. So today I would like to introduce the future infrastructure vision that the program Future Internet Public-Private Partnership empowered by the European Commission are taking place all these years. Here you can find a roadmap. I'm not going to go into detail because I mean this will take us the whole day. For example, last week I was attending the Sci-Fi meeting, one of the projects of the roadmap, and it took us like 4 days, so I would try to be brief. I just want you to have a look to more or less the different kind of projects that we are in the program we're taking care. And you can see there are some kind of technology usage more related to how to use these outcomes that are taken in the program. But today I would like to focus on the capacity, which means the infrastructure projects. Here we have a couple of them, which is the Infinity project and the Sci-Fi project. The first one says what is available, and the second one, how to use it. As I said, I'm going to start with the Infinity project. The main goal that this Infinity project wants to achieve is to facilitate the communication and collaboration between the infrastructure owners across Europe and organizations developing future internet applications. So these kind of projects take a wider vision than, for example, in Porto or maybe Stockholm. So this main objective can be split in 3 secondary ones. That is position Europe at the center of the future of internet. I mean, taking as a worldwide reference, if we compare with the United States. The second one is directly support experimentation for, as I say, future internet, public-private partners, projects and investors, and probably one of the most important is to speed up the integration of the future internet in the main actors of the society, which means like the citizens, businesses, and the government entities. Infinity project actually started 2 years ago, so it's facing the last stage of the project, so we can list a couple of achievements like we reached. We identified and contacted about 500 infrastructure across Europe, and a little beyond these frontiers. We encourage and support interaction and collaboration between infrastructure owners and application developers. Actually, as I said, primarily use case developers, one of the projects that I showed previously in the roadmap. And the 3 last points are probably the most important, which is we developed and launched the live web-based repository called CP, which is which basically organize and evaluate information from more than 200 future internet infrastructures. I mean, even though we study 500, not all these infrastructure are available to get inside this repository because they need to fulfill some kind of requirements. And this lead me to the next point, which is we developed a new taxonomy for future internet infrastructure, which is the Infinity Common Description Framework. Something that is still in progress is the creation of a future internet infrastructure roadmap from the analysis of the gathered data from all these years. Here you can see, I'm not going into detail of this kind of taxonomy, because actually the common description framework is a taxonomy to profile the infrastructure that we are studying. As you can see, it is based on three main perspectives. This is societal, economic, and technical. According to these characteristics, we can provide an infrastructure to know if it's compatible with the FI-PPP technologies and so on. The other main outcome from the Infinity project, is what I call, what I mentioned, the CP portal, which is actually a repository to support the internet trials in Europe. It's the widest collection of data of future internet-related infrastructure, with more than 200 public available as today, and obviously, more coming because little infrastructure are. I'm discovering this kind of repository and join the project. I wasn't sure if I would have internet connection, but you can check it online in this web page. Now I want to move on to the Sci-Fi project, which is the continuation. It's not the continuation of the Infinity project, but it's how we can use the information provided by the Infinity project. As I say, I'm not going to go into the technical details because I don't want you to get bored. But I just want to provide a small overview of the project. Sci-Fi project aims at these kind of points, which is the first one is to define the reference architecture and set up the implementation of a sustainable federation of future internet-enabled infrastructure. It means basically that we are developing and integrating a Sci-Fi cloud community based on cloud-based tools. We want to offer to FI-PPP use cases, which, as you can probably say, that is the usage projects of the program, and external developers and initial infrastructure capacity compliant to the future Internet Core platform, which is the FI-ware technology. In the next slides, I will provide some kind of description of this project, because FI-ware is also another FI-PPP project, but it's quite huge, so I just wanted to know that it's the technology that we are basing on. We also aim to integrate, adapt, and upgrade existing infrastructure to ensure their compliance with the program. Actually, the requirements that we are requesting to the infrastructures to aim to join us. We also aim to support infrastructure owners and application developers by providing them with documentation and training. Obviously, we need to provide some kind of support to this adaptation progress. And also like to showcase the benefits of this federated capacity to the stakeholders that we are facing. As you can see here, it's more or less the initial Sci-Fi cloud community that we're working on at this stage, which is basically composed of 5 nodes, one of Spain, France, UK, Italy, and Germany. Sorry, but the Germany, it's in Berlin. It wasn't depicted in the figure, but it's Berlin. But it will be expanded to cover 17 nodes between 2014 and 2015 in the second stage of the project, because right now we're facing the first stage, but the next year, this year, but when finished the first stage, we'll approach the new expansion of the nodes. Okay, the Sci-Fi added value we can summarize in these next points, which actually we target small and medium enterprises and startups by providing an open innovation marketplace. Which means that this is the same, it tries to be the single entry point to meet resource owners and developers, where we can browse, compare, and access the FI-PPP technological offer available at the different multi-region nodes, also called, I mean, when we call nodes, we are referring to infrastructure or maybe smart cities. Also, the easy access to management and monitoring of these services and offers a level of scalability and flexibility which currently cannot be achieved by the European Commission initiatives. As I say, I want to introduce briefly what is the technology that we are basing on, which is also developed in the program. FI-ware, it's a core platform that is the creation of applications by lowering the cost and the complexity. It's basically it's composed of pieces of software called generic enablers, or I mean, if it's more specific, they are called specific enablers. That if you integrate one each other, you can build a new, more complex application. Cypher provides extensions to these existing generic enablers to support the federation of clouds and infrastructures. If you want to go into detail, you can check this website. I mean, because it's really huge. It's a 3-year project, so I mean, it's really huge. Okay, now that we have the technology, we have to provide to the developers a place where they can test the applications and also the technology. This place is FiLab, which is the live instance of FI-ware. And in the Sci-Fi project, we aim to extend and enhance this live instance to support the community cloud, and the developers are able not to only join a single instance, but the whole multi-region marketplace. You also can check the FiLab, the single instance in this website. And finally, FiOps is a collection of tools that is the deployment, setup, and operation of FI-ware instances by platform providers. Because FiOps is actually a development from the Sci-Fi project, I'll leave a concrete section in this presentation only focused on FiOps. Okay, what is FiOps? FiOps, as I say, is a collection of tools to include and operate. I mean, if our infrastructure wants to join the community cloud, this infrastructure will need these kind of tools to join the federation and also to operate with different nodes. So basically, it's the tools that is the adaptation and federation layer that you have to put on the infrastructure in order to join the federation and the community cloud, actually. Here you can find on top of these FiOps shall support a city to connect with the FI-ware technology that previously I introduced and other smart cities infrastructures. So basically, FiOps is what comes all together in order to make the infrastructure not only but its own compatible with FI-ware, but also connected to other smart cities infrastructures. Here, more or less, is what I say. I mean, FiOps trying to embrace all the key stakeholders. The public authorities, both local and regional, are able to build and offer smart services in a faster manner, actually. The IT managers are able to actually develop and test smart services in a more effective manner, because as I said, I mean, it's a cost-effective manner, and also you can provide a test environment. And also the citizens service provider are able to develop and make use of these smart services through a marketplace. So basically, FiOps is what takes all the pieces into a single environment. As I said, I mean, this slide is more or less what I explained, so I will skip it. As I said, I mean, I tried to summarize all these projects that are, I mean, really huge projects. We're talking about maybe a 2-year, 3-year project in just 15 minutes. So, I mean, if you want to go into detail, you have these references, and also, I mean, I'll be here later on, so you can ask me about, I mean, if you are interested in further details. But this is pretty much a brief introduction. Thank you.